What's up, everyone? This is Ian again from One Code Camp. Today, we're going to dive into the fundamental aspect of web development that adds style and finesse to our websites. This is the topic of linking your external CSS style sheets to your EJS templates. Now, you might be wondering, why is this important? Well, whether you're building a very simple blog or even a complex web application, CSS or cascading style sheets plays a very crucial role in making your content look fantastic and your user interface feels seamless. In this video, we're going to water down the process of connecting your EJS templates, the ones that you were able to create, which is going to handle the structure as well as the dynamic content of our project. And then on the other hand, we're also going to connect the second element, which is the external CSS files that's going to bring life to our existing design. We'll walk you through the steps, the tips, and also we are going to discuss the best practices, and we'll also get to explore some of the neat tips and tricks along the way. So let's get started. So here in our Visual Studio Code is a project that we created from our last EJS video. So here we have the server file, which we name app.js, and then two templates in this project directory. These are both inside our views folder. Right, so now let me show you how our application look like at this point. I'm running our server, and then let us open our live server. It's already open. Let me minimize the Visual Studio Code and bring up. Let me open that again. Think I closed the tab. All right, here it is.
Get it.
Let me just correct. The port should be 3000 since that's what we set on our server. And this is how our project looks like right now. So this is this index template, and let's access the second template, which we named template 2. This is how it looks like. Pretty simple, right? It looks actually pretty boring. So right now we are going to again add in styling to these templates that we currently have now. And how are we going to do that? So first is we're going to create another folder for our file. So let's minimize the views folder. So here in the File Explorer, let us create another folder for our CSS files. Let's create first a folder named public. And then inside this public folder, let's create another folder. This time, let's name it styles. And then now, finally, inside the styles folder, we can now add in our CSS file. So let's name it styles.css. Okay, so this is now what's going to handle the design or the layout of all of our EJS templates. Now that we have a space or a file to write in our CSS codes, let us modify or make sure that we update that information in our server. Now here, maybe down here in the configuration part of our server, we want to make sure that our server is of course correctly configured to serve those static files from the public directory that we created. So let's type in here app.use, then we are going to refer back to our Express framework and then use the keyword static, referring to the static files that we wanted to use in the future. And then inside is we're going to identify, this should be a number sign, or I mean what do you call this symbol again? Underscore. All right. So in here, we are going to identify the location of our static files, which is again located inside the public folder. Okay. All right. Save the changes. And then next would be, let's try testing this first on our index.ejs, our first template. So of course, we will also need to link the CSS file in here. So let me close this out. Okay, so for us to link, just type in the word link, and Visual Studio Code will give us that option to link a CSS file. Let's just click that, and as you can see, it auto-populates us with a default template or a default code ready for CSS integration. So in here, we'll just need to, these lines of code are good. We will just need to change the file location. So the name of our CSS file is styles. Let's add S here, and then let's direct this to the location of our styles.css files. Okay. All right. And then let's save this. Okay. So now that we're able to configure the server for the public folder or for the CSS files that we wanted to use, and we have the same CSS file link to our first template, let's try and test if the templates or if the design that we're going to put in here inside our CSS file is going to be reflected back on our live server. So first, let's try to maybe change the background color of this web page. Oh, I think we are on the second template. Let us change that back to the root URL or to the index page. There we have it. Okay. Now, rule of thumb, whenever you are creating a CSS file, we will need to first reset some default browser styles. So I'm going to add in here margin. Let's set that to 0. And then padding, we wanted that to be set to 0 as well for us to avoid any conflicts. And then down here, let's target the body tags. And then inside the body, maybe let's say in here background color. What do we want to use for background color? Maybe let's use an aquamarine background color. Okay, let's save this. And then we will need to run our server down here in our terminal to see if there had been any changes at all. So let's run our server, refresh our browser, and there we have it. All right, so as you can see, we were now able to successfully create the file for when we can play around with the customization of our web page, and it is properly linked to this template that we have created for the index.ejs. So moving forward, we can just add in other properties and value in the CSS file. Aside from the background color, maybe we can also change the font style. So let's call in the font family property. And then let's just use Arial and not Helvetica. Okay, that's looking good. And then let us change the font color as well. So for font color, we are targeting them as just color. And then what color do we want here? Maybe let's go for brown. Let us run our server again and then refresh our live server. Okay, so as you can see, it's still reflecting all the changes that we are applying to our CSS file. Now, what we want to do is to, of course, change the second template as well. Let's just copy this line so it can also get the customization that we are currently applying to our project. Save. This should be, since we are targeting the body inside our styles, if we are going to access our second template, we should be also seeing now the same design for the other template as well. So we are yet running our server once again, and then let's refresh this. Oops, it cannot be reached now. Let me try doing that again. Okay, and then let's access the second one. Template 2. Okay. The styling has been applied to the second web page also. All right. So in here, I actually have a ready-made template. So I'll be just pasting all these guys here. But maybe we will need to further customize or add in classes and ID names on both of our templates for this styling to be implemented. And let us do just that. So here on our index, we actually would want to create another div container, which are going to wrap all of these elements that we have inside. Just to add a bit of styling and partition into our header. Maybe let's we make this the header, the title, and then maybe we can make this as our body content. So let's create a div tag here, and then let's give it a class name of container. All right. And then let's also wrap our h1 tag in a header. Maybe we can give it a name of, so it will be another div tag. This time, let's give it a class name, index content, or index header first. And then, of course, we're going to insert our title here. Okay, make sure your indentation is still on point so that our code is, of course, still readable. So let's give this one a class name index hidden content. Correct. Let's put all of these inside of this div. Okay. Right, and then let's try to do it again on the other template before we run our live server again, just for us to run the server just once this time. By the way, let me make my Visual Studio Code bigger. All right, that's looking good. So for our template 2 in here, let's see. Let us create another container. So we're naming this container again. And let's start dividing this 2 elements. So div. So this time we would like to give the very same name convention to both of the template. This time we will just need to use their file name. So template 2. And then gonna use the same naming convention of header. Gonna do the same thing of putting our title inside. And then down here is we're going to just create another div for the content. So again, template 2. Oops, hope I spelled that correctly. 2-4. Okay. And then you guys go inside. Okay. Great. Let's just remove the white spaces in here. That is looking much worse better. Okay, let's save the file. Okay, so this goes here, and then we're going to open our live server by again clicking the Go Live button down here. Let's also minimize the file explorer so we can see much of the code inside our editor. And here is my live server that got open on another monitor. I'm moving it here. Let's minimize this and then change the port to the port number that we set, 3000. Okay. And did we run already? Let me run our server again by typing node underscore or node space app.js. Okay, and then refresh the browser in the index page. Oh, okay. So I'm expecting for some changes in our live server on our web pages, but we haven't styled anything yet. We just added the class names on both of our templates. So let's do that now. Let's go to this styles.css file again. And then over here is where we can add. So this is now the container. Let me maximize this. So as you can see, we now have a white space in here. And then the body is everything that is colored aquamarine. So I guess this is the container so far. Since we have not added the background color, or we did add this white background color, that's why it's occupying this space above. So let's add some more codes. So let's target the index header first. So the way we do it is whenever we're targeting a class name, it needs to start with a period. And then we're also setting the background color. Maybe let's set it to blue. I'm just randomly picking out things. And then next would be, we would also want to set the font color. Let's make that blue violet. And we would like to align everything in the center also. Let's take center. And then let's add some padding in here. Maybe 10 pixels will be enough. Okay. And then here, let's also add the content, so index content. If I remember correctly, that's the name of the next class. So in the content, we will just need to add more padding. I'm good with 20 pixels, and then also a border of maybe let's say 1 pixels with a solid line. And let's also add in here a color.
Okay.
You guys are going to see what color corresponds to this one. It's kind of like a shade of white, but it's kind of darker. It's kind of light gray, but we'll see. So in here, I'm going to target the class names on the template2.ejs file. So If I remember correctly, the header is template 2, and then header, and then in here, let's try to copy the same. So they have somewhat a unique, or maybe not, because we're trying to show how we can manipulate the design by doing them in separate locations. So I guess we can just copy the properties and then let's just change its value. But I guess we want to keep the alignment as well as the padding aligned or the same. So let's just maybe choose a different font color. Maybe let's go for pink. Okay. And then for the background color, let's also change this to green. Okay. Well, that's a good combination, but whatever. So lastly would be the template 2 and 10. And we are going to copy the same properties in here. And I think this one we can copy. Maybe we can just change the color. So let's go for maybe gray. Okay. All right. Okay. And let's save this path. Run our CSS or our server. And then let's press again the live server. Okay. So as you can see, this is how we further apply styling using the CSS file. So in here, we can see the container, and then we have the title center, just like what we've included or what we've indicated on our CSS file. And here are the body of the index path. And then if we're going to the template 2, this is now how it looks like. So all the colors, all the padding and borders are properly applied on both of the web pages. Okay, well, that actually concludes our video about discussing how to apply styling to your EJS templates. If you're going to notice, this is the opposite of the previous video that we had about the variable scoping. So you can basically just have one file for CSS, and then you can target all of the elements in here by, of course, following proper names or targeting them correctly using the selectors, the CSS selectors class and ID. So I hope I was able to help you on our next project. We will try to make a full-blown project this time, since on this past video we're just making mock-ups or very simple project that does not have any feature or any actual use at all. So that's what we are going to focus on our next video. But for now, I would like to thank you for watching up until this point. And again, I hope to see you on the next one.